My name is Raj Gurn. I am the founder, president and CEO of Anoki Life. I am confident because I've spent all my life learning about humanity, and one thing that I've really figured out is that people are really good, and that's why I love to tell the stories of our lives.
My name is Farah Khan and I'm the Director of Administration at Anoki Life. I would say I'm imaginative. I love living the fantasy worlds created by authors and artists because regular is mundane and mundane is boring.
I'm Hina Ansari. I'm the Editor-in-Chief of Anoki Life and the co-host of Anoki Uncensored. I am resilient because it's through the challenges that I'm able to measure my strength.
I'm Richka Bindra Anand, co-host of Anoki Uncensored. I'm a dreamer because I'm forever seeking.
I'm Karthikeya Bhargava, and I'm the digital media consultant at Anoki Life. I'm a fighter because I'm always trying to get ahead of the game.
Hi, my name is Karam Gurn and I'm the Digital Marketing Manager at Anoki Life. I am inquisitive because I'm fueled by demystifying the unknown.
My name is Bobby Dillon. I am supportive. I am the creative marketing consultant at Anoki Life. I am supportive because I love helping people. I love uplifting others while bringing the best out of them.
I'm Jen Rabinillo, Event Manager for Anoki Life. I am creative because I constantly evolve.
Anoki has really been on a wonderful journey over the past 15 years. It's interesting because so many people ask me the question about Anoki, and having been the founder and having been, just kind of every step of the way of the journey of the brand, I found that really the best way to talk about and define it is that it's undefinable. And what I mean by that is, as world, society, humanity, culture, the social movement that happens, it flows like water. And I feel that Anoki is very much like that. It flows through the journey of, whatever the changes are that are happening in life. For those of you who don't know, Anoki is also the Hindi word for unique or different. When I first started the brand, the reason why I called it Anoki was really because there was no other media at that time that was talking about the intersection between two different cultures. Either you were mainstream or you were very defined within a cultural niche. Both of those are very relevant, but I felt that I fit in both, and that so many people in my space also fit in both, but there wasn't really anything out there that allowed us to kind of have a voice and a platform to talk about it. I don't know if it was in my infinite wisdom or lack thereof. I just felt that there needed to be somewhere where we also belonged. So it was almost like the space for the misfits, the people that didn't really have an identity at that time. And it's interesting because along the journey, Anoki's really helped to define and establish an identity of misfits who have really started to make massive changes in society across multiple industries. And I think that really is a testament to the fact that we have to really look out, not just at those things that make us the same, but definitely look at those things that make us different. Both of them together is really what defines what the human experience is about. And that to me is what defines Anoki.
Anoki is a pioneer in representing the pop culture savvy South Asian across the world, but even more so in North America. There's a voice for everyone, there's something for everyone.
It's a wonderful world where inclusivity and storytelling is celebrated.
The Anoki brand is authentic, there's a realness to it. It brings people together, but at the same time, it opens doors for people to come in and find out who they are and still have a place in the community.
For me, the Anoki brand is about me, you, and everybody else within the South Asian community.
The Anoki brand sits as a progenitor and stands at the forefront of empowering and celebrating the South Asian community.
The Anoki brand is a unique storytelling platform which discusses topics that are most important for you and I. Also, they're delivered in the most powerful and prestigious way.
The Anoki brand for me is being unique, involving others, and constantly helping and supporting each other.
Anoki has really been on a parallel journey with the South Asian community's growth over the past 15 or so years. So really what you'll see is that every time something is happening or developing, or there's changes that are taking our identity as the community globally on a journey, we've always found that Anoki has also been very, very mindful of these changes, and we've always kind of been there to make sure that the stories that we tell truly are authentic to those experiences. And I feel that that really is the biggest impact that Anoki has had, and the really true magic and uniqueness of Anoki in my experience, and also the experience of people that we've worked with, that work with us, and of course with the wider diaspora, and also people who aren't a part of the South Asian community, is that Anoki truly knows how to tap into the regional, national and international stories that are happening out there and make them relevant. And I think that that's really been the big impact of Anoki globally. We always have this really uncanny way of being able to take every story that is a part of our community and to put kind of a spin on it so that it's relevant, beyond just what we experience within our culture.
Not only has Anoki brought international recognition to many successful South Asians from across the world, it has also provided opportunities to many to move their career forward. I've worked with Anoki for many years now, and so many times I've seen people come up and recognize Anoki as a company that gave them the chance that no one else would and help them move their career forward. So I think credit is due there.
I think that it has provided a great environment, celebrates the South Asian community, celebrates growth and evolution. It's celebrating those markers that really makes Anoki Life stand out.
Anoki Life is interesting because it's one of the most unique platforms that I've ever come across, which actually creates a place for South Asians to meet each other, whether you're at point A or point B. Through the awards shows done in the past, the blogs, the information sourcing, the up-to-date coverage that this brand has bought and continues to have, we're able to meet talent and such wonderful other South Asian members that we would have never had sitting at our own corner of the world. So I think this global world has kind of come together into this close space through the space of Anoki Life.
I think Anoki's played a very, very big role in sort of connecting different isolated pockets of the South Asian community with each other, telling and celebrating our achievements, our wins, and also sort of showing what Indians outside of India are doing for Indians themselves. Because a lot of times, as somebody who comes from India, it was very hard for me to imagine what the South Asian community did, and Anoki for me was one of the best sources to find out the who's who.
By providing a platform for and encouraging the slew of unique paths walked by all the South Asians around the world, Anoki Life pretty much stands as a key component to the success of the global South Asian community.
The topics that Anoki discusses helps us get outside of our comfort zone. Because as South Asians, we are in a bubble. Even though we might be successful, we're not always pursuing our dream. Anoki allows us to pursue our dream with the influence that it delivers. Also, leadership. When it comes to leadership, Anoki is the mother of many organizations, and that empowered us to become leaders as well.
Not only has Anoki Life impacted the Southeast Asian community globally, it has actually impacted the Southeast Asian community here within Canada. Without Anoki, everything that technically makes us all different, we wouldn't actually realize that we're the same. So different cultures coming together and understanding that we all go through the same processes and we all evolve through the same things. So Anoki has really helped me be surrounded by a culture that actually embraces who I am, as well as me trying to integrate diversity into the Southeast Asian community and understanding who I am as a Canadian, but also Asian.
It will sound cliche, but as they say, the only constant in life is change. This evolution is a necessary step, not just to represent us as the Anoki brand, but also to cater to the ever-changing needs of our readers and viewers. We hope they will welcome this change, and we are sure they will like it.
Change needs to be celebrated. It shouldn't be suppressed. Evolution is key to growing. It's healthy, and I'm excited to be a part of the new Anoki Life.
Change is so important because some of the most successful people always say that if you keep your eyes closed during times of change, you've missed the bus. And I think with us, there's a genuineness of wanting to be there. So it was never, I think, a question of rebranding or changing. It was just a question of walking with our community. And our community is walking at a different path right now, and we're here to be there for them.
I think change is the only constant, and the way our community is changing and is becoming diverse and it's kind of moving along, and the values of the community are changing. it's important for a company like Anoki, which kind of is the pulse and the vibe of the community, to also evolve along with it.
You know, whether it be technology, social dynamics, or even how we perceive the world around us, change has always been present, always will be present, and is present right now. But adapting to those changes is a necessity in the advancement of the human experience in all aspects.
We have to adapt to society. We're always changing our trends, we're changing the way how we communicate, whether it's technology, social media, we have to adapt to that. Also, we have to take a look at ourselves and do a self-reflection, because when you're a brand and you're looking to elevate, change is elevation, because we always have to recreate ourselves to take the next step.
Anoki Life is going through another rebrand. I've been around for 2, but you know what? It's not called a rebrand. Again, I keep saying evolve, it's called evolve. Because without pivoting who you are or what you represent within your journey, then you would stay stagnant in the same. So I'm super excited to be a part of this pivot and the evolving of Anoki Life to see where the next steps are going to lead.
Anoki has been on a really interesting journey of the last 15 years. Rebrand really is just another word from our perspective for us checking in with the community. So I found across the 15 years that Anoki has been in existence is that there's been I would say 5 to 6 years that we've found that the community has been going in a different direction. So when we first started with Anoki in 2002, the brand was called ANOKHI VIBE. The community was very much kind of in a coming of age space, where we were trying to legitimize who we were as an identity outside of the homeland and inside of this new place that we call North America. And so, you know, it was about, you know, what's the vibe that we're in, you know, what is it that we're kind of, you know, trying to figure out about ourselves. That was kind of the first iteration of the brand. And then we realized that we were really becoming great storytellers. So it was more than a vibe, it was about deep delving the stories of the community, because now an identity was truly starting to emerge. And this really was predicated on the fact that there were so many of our community that were doing some really great things across multiple industries. So this is when, you know, we kind of, you know, morphed into ANOKHI Magazine. From ANOKHI Magazine, we found that, my God, these stories of these people are so amazing that we need to celebrate them. As we celebrated the anniversary of Anoki, we felt that we wanted to do it by thanking and paying homage to our community. So we started the Anoki events, the most glamorous, the most celebrated of which was the one where we celebrated our community the most, and that was our annual award shows. Following that, we also decided that now we're doing events, they've got social media happening, there was, you know, e-marketing opportunities, of course there was the print magazine. This was no longer just ANOKHI Magazine, the brand, this was ANOKHI Media. We've had quite the interesting trek through that particular brand and that iteration of the brand, simply because that was, I feel, the time when there was a lot of aggressive change happening in our community. And then there was the emergence of this whole ideology, very marketing term, where we started to segmentize the community based on age. So then you had the Gen X and you had the Millennials. So at that time, we realized that we were getting a huge influx of interest from people mobilely, digitally, and online. And that was a really interesting time for us. Through that interaction, there was a lot more emphasis on real time, like the real-time experience of what it's like to be a part of the world that we live in. We felt then that another iteration was necessary. I'm so pleased to announce that ANOKHI Media has now morphed into ANOKHI Life. And the reason for that is that now we've got to a point in our community where we no longer need to legitimize ourselves. We no longer need to, tell the outside world who we are. They know exactly what we are and how we are a part of the wider diaspora and a part of telling some of the most iconic and prolific stories of the world's society. So for me, that means that we are now a part of a community. It means that now we are really kind of honing in and identifying the individuality of what it means to be who you are. So before it was about, who are we as a collective identity. Now we're at a point now where it's really clear on who we are. We've done some tremendous things across multiple industries. Now we're at a point where we can actually look at individuals who are doing tremendous things. We are in a place now where that is the case. And because of that, we felt that these individuals collectively create a very diverse and inclusive environment. And an environment is a community. And for us, the collective differences between all these individuals is what actually creates what we want to call Anoki life. And really, at the end of the day, that's what it's about. What are we doing? What have we been doing all these years? We've given it so many different names, but at the end of the day, what are we celebrating? What stories are we telling? We're telling the stories of life.